Some stories are more than just tales, they're warnings from the shadows. They linger, making you question every creak in your home, every whisper in the dark. Sometimes a single object or symbol can connect these horrors, bridging worlds best left apart. These are not stories for comfort, but glimpses into what happens when the veil between worlds grows thin. Imagine a darkness that isn't just absence of light, but a presence that watches, waits, and sometimes finds a way through. Our journey begins in a quiet house, in a young girl's bedroom, a place that should be safe. But sometimes, the walls of a sanctuary are thinner than we think. Prepare yourself. The first story is about to unfold. For Sarah, her room wasn't just a place to sleep or study. It was her sanctuary, a carefully curated space filled with posters, books, and the comforting clutter of teenage life. It was a place where she felt safe, a haven from the pressures of school and the complexities of growing up. All that changed when the tapping began. At first it was faint, almost imperceptible, like a tiny mouse scratching within the walls, a sound easily dismissed as the house settling. But each night it grew louder, more insistent, a rhythmic pulse that vibrated through the walls and into Sarah's very bones. It was no longer a subtle scratching, it was a deliberate, unnerving tap. Her parents, practical and weary from their own daily struggles, dismissed it as old house quirks. But Sarah knew, deep down, that this was no ordinary house noise. This was something else, something wrong. Driven by a growing unease and a desperate need for answers, Sarah began searching for the source of the tapping, meticulously investigating every corner of her room. Finally, after moving her heavy dresser, she discovered it, a tiny, almost invisible hole in the wall, hidden in the shadows. Peering into the inky blackness, she saw only darkness, a void that seemed to swallow the light. But then, a single, unblinking eye materialized from the gloom, staring back at her with an unnerving intensity. And above the hole, etched into the wall with disturbing precision, was a crude symbol, an eye with 3 vertical lines carved beneath it, a mark that seemed ancient and malevolent. Frozen with a primal fear that gripped her heart, Sarah stumbled backward, gasping for breath. Then, a sharp, distinct knock echoed through the room. But this time, the sound didn't come from the wall. It came from the center of her room, as if something was trying to break through the floorboards. A sudden icy draft swept past her, rustling the curtains and carrying with it a whisper, a dry, rustling breath that seemed to slither into her ear. The presence, whatever it was no longer contained behind the wall. It was in the room with her, watching her, waiting. The symbol burned in her mind's eye, a terrifying warning she couldn't ignore, a sign that she had stumbled upon something ancient and evil. Her sanctuary, her safe haven, had been irrevocably breached, and the terror, the true horror, had only just begun to unfold. Arthur's nights were typically a sanctuary of peace. The world outside faded away as he drifted into slumber, leaving behind the day's worries and embracing the quiet solitude of his home. But the tranquility was shattered when his phone violently rang at 3:07 a.m., the jarring sound cutting through the stillness like a knife. The digital clock glowed ominously, casting an eerie light on the bedside table. Groggily, he answered, his mind still clouded with sleep. But the voice on the other end sent a shiver down his spine. It was his own voice, distorted with terror, desperately pleading. "Don't open the door," his voice rasped. "It's here. Whatever you do, don't let it in." The urgency in his own voice was unmistakable, a chilling warning from himself. Then, just as abruptly as it began, the line went dead, leaving Arthur staring at the silent phone in disbelief and growing dread. A moment later, a faint scratching sound emanated from the front door, a subtle yet terrifying indication that something was indeed outside. His gaze drifted towards the antique mirror he'd impulsively bought last week, a beautiful but unsettling piece that seemed to radiate an unnatural coldness. He had been uneasy about its presence ever since, a nagging feeling that it was more than just a reflection of the room. Compelled by an unseen force, he cautiously made his way downstairs, each step creaking in the oppressive silence. As he neared the front door, he noticed a strange symbol etched onto the wood. It was an eye, crudely drawn with what looked like ash, with 3 unsettling lines beneath it, a mark that seemed ancient and malevolent. The warning from his own voice echoed in his mind, a desperate plea to stay away. But a morbid curiosity, a dangerous allure, pulled him closer to the door. Against his better judgment, he reached out and slowly opened the door. Beyond the threshold lay nothing but the cold, empty street, bathed in the pale glow of the moon. There was no sign of anyone, no indication of what had caused the scratching. Yet the air was icy, a bone-chilling cold that seeped into his skin, raising goosebumps on his arms. And in the hallway mirror, he caught a flicker of movement, a fleeting glimpse of something dark and indistinct, shifting in the reflection. The symbol on the door, the chilling phone call, the unsettling mirror, each element a piece of a terrifying puzzle. They were all connected, intertwined in a web of dread that was slowly tightening around him. Arthur realized the horrifying truth, but it was too late to undo what he had done. Some doors, he understood with chilling clarity, should never be opened. Some mysteries are best left undisturbed. The presence, whatever it was, had found a way in, invited by his own curiosity and a force he couldn't comprehend. And now, from the depths of the shadows, it was watching, waiting, its malevolent gaze fixed on Arthur. In a dusty attic, a group of children played the black candle game, seeking a thrill. They lit a black candle, chanted, and waited. Emily, staring into the flame, described visions, a terrified girl, a man at a door, a strange symbol. The candle sputtered, wax pooling into the shape of an eye with 3 lines. A sharp crack split the silence. The old attic mirror now bore a fresh, jagged fissure. The candles snuffed out, plunging them into darkness. The game had become real. The symbol from their visions was now etched in wax and glass. Fear gripped them as the shadows seemed to move. The mirror was no longer just a reflection. Something had been awakened. The mirror had passed from Sarah's family to Arthur, and now to the children in the attic. In the darkness, the crack in the mirror widened, glass splintering onto the floor. A cold, dark mist seeped from the fissure, swirling with a hungry, ancient presence. The temperature dropped, the children's breath fogged in the air. The mist gathered, never forming a clear shape but absorbing all light. A guttural whisper vibrated through the room. On the wall behind the mirror, a symbol burned itself into the wood, an eye with 3 vertical lines glowing faintly red. The entity was free, the escape was complete, and the curse had crossed over. 3 stories, each a tendril of fear reaching out from the darkness. 3 narratives intertwined by a force unseen, a presence felt only in the deepest corners of the mind. 1 thread, a single strand of fate connecting them all to a shared and terrible destiny. A destiny they cannot escape, a connection forged in the fires of ancient evil, a sinister connection marked by the ancient symbol. The eye with 3 lines, a sigil of power, a brand of corruption, etched into the very fabric of their lives. It watches, it waits, it hungers. Sarah's tapping, a frantic rhythm against the encroaching dread, a desperate attempt to maintain control as the world unravels around her. Arthur's warning, a desperate plea echoing through the ages, a futile attempt to stem the tide of darkness that threatens to consume them all. The children's game, an innocent pastime twisted into a ritual of horror, unknowingly paving the way for the ancient evil to return. Their laughter masks the sinister purpose it now serves, each a step toward release, each action a catalyst, drawing them closer to the precipice of madness and despair. The entity stirs, sensing its impending freedom. The eye with 3 lines was more than a mark. It was a binding, a curse, a gateway to something ancient and malevolent. It was a key, unlocking the prison that held the darkness captive for centuries. A key forged in blood and despair. A beacon, calling out to the void, signaling the moment of release, drawing the entity back into our world. A brand, marking those who are destined to suffer, those who will bear witness to the horrors to come. The mirror is open now. The veil is lifted, and the boundary between worlds has been shattered, its cracks spreading like a disease consuming reality, corrupting everything it touches. Through the barrier between worlds, the entity claws its way back, eager to unleash its wrath upon the unsuspecting. What was trapped is loose, free to roam, free to corrupt, free to inflict its ancient terror upon the world. Seeking those who bear the mark, those who are connected to the curse, those who will become its next victims. Marking those who come too close, those who dare to pry into the secrets that should remain buried. The cold dread, seeping into their bones, a chilling reminder of the horrors that await. The impossible warnings, whispers from beyond the veil, desperate attempts to avert the inevitable. The terror unleashed, a maelstrom of chaos and despair consuming everything in its path. These are only the beginning, the first tremors of a cataclysmic event that will forever alter the landscape of reality. The entity walks among us, unseen, unheard, yet always present, a lurking shadow in the periphery. Its presence a chill in the air, a sudden drop in temperature, a prickling sensation on the back of your neck, a shadow at the edge of sight, a fleeting glimpse of something unnatural, a reminder that you are not alone. 3 stories, 1 curse. The mirror is open. Comment your favorite scare, like this chronicle of the shadows. Subscribe for more whispers from the other side before the eye finds you.